Hi, everyone. We are live. Hope you can hear me okay. I've got the headset on. YouTube is telling me everything is good. I'm using the cell phone data today. I think that's the way most of you live stream. You might hear some background noise. Yeah, there I am. Uh huh. I'm just bringing up the chat right now. I don't know if anybody's going to show up because I didn't announce this in advance, but I do see a couple of people showing up here. Charmaine, good morning. Charmaine, thanks for showing up. Anyway, they'll catch this for the people that are catching it on the fly. Good morning, Tim. Thanks for showing up. I'm giving this a try, where I use the cell phone on the road. I've never done it before, and I thought I'd do a little experiment. Minnie and I, we just finished breakfast at the Pier, I think it's Pier Quattro Hotel down here in Cebu. It's changed a lot. I kind of doubt that we will ever stay here again. It kind of needs a renovation. It's gone downhill, and for a couple bucks more, you could stay at a fine hotel. Really fine one. Jay Lynn is in the house. Thanks for so much for coming on short notice. Charmaine is here. Jay Lynn, Tim Deziak, thanks for being here. So a couple things happened that I'm not proud of on the way over. I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. I don't know. You might feel sorry for me and you might get a little chuckle out of it. I'm not sure which way it could go. It could go either way, quite frankly. But on the way over here, I don't know if you guys remember, but I've done emails in the past and videos in the past and live streams in the past where I've said that I would never get in one of those vans, in one of those crazy driving vans, going down to bye bye. But here, as you could see on the last video, you could see us traveling down the road, loading into one of these vans. Right now, man, Minnie, she didn't know. I'm the one that put my hand up to pull it over. Yeah, let's go ahead and take the van. Yet I've said in the past, I will never ever get on one of those crazy vans again because I value my life. Right, I value my life, and I thought for sure that those were going to be the last words that you remembered me by. I value my life. But I sure didn't prove it by any stretch of the imagination by showing up and going against everything that I stand for. Everything that I stand for: truth, justice, and the Filipino way. Except that Pinky Gray's here. Who else is here? Pinky Gray's in the house. Annalyn is here, or Jaylyn is here. I could barely see this thing, guys. Here's the whole thing. I got in the van. I got in the van for what turned out to be Mr. Froggy's Wild Ride. For most of you, LV, LV, LV. You're number one, not number two. Don't ever change. Uh, Here's the thing. We got in the van. Good morning, Knit Van. How are you? And we're going zooming down the highway towards Ormoc, right? At about 110 miles per hour. Convert that at your will over to kilometers. Larry Lee is here, right? 110 miles an hour probably was an understatement. And the van driver is going to the left and going to the right and just kind of weaving down a very, very windy road, right? And now I'm starting to pray. I'm starting to pray, and other people in the van are starting to pray, but nobody is saying anything. I don't hear anybody saying, why don't you slow the F down? What the hell is the matter with you? And I started looking, every time he turns to look at me because I'm grumbling, I'm like, we need to get the hell out of this van. I turned to Minnie and I said, we need to get the hell out of here, right? And people, of course, are overhearing what I'm saying, and they're like looking at me. It's just you know, he's a foreigner. What do you want? You can know, can know. What do you know? Nothing. This is how we roll in the Philippines. This ain't how Dan rolls in the Philippines. Hi, Daisy Lynn. How are you? The incomparable Daisy Lynn is in the house. Elvie Rose is here, hanging in there with my story. Uh, Anime and others sharing it out. Thank you so much, Jay Lynn and others sharing it out. All right, so uh, I'm about ready to ask this insane van driver to pull the van over so I can step off. I've had enough. Momoma's here. Some of you have experienced this. Some of you will never get on a van again. You're just like me and you're Filipino. But no, no, I don't listen to the voice inside. Most of the time I do. Most of the time I listen to the gut feeling. Not most of the time, 110% of the time, I'm listening to the voice saying, don't do it, don't do it. And the voice was screaming at me, what are you, an idiot? What are you, a moron? Don't get on that van. Do not get in the van. And yet here we are crawling inside. And even after we were in the van, Minnie says, she turns to me and says, what the hell are you doing? You said you'd never get in this van. And she's reminding me. And of course, I'm like, what did I do? My life is over. And sure enough, this guy's acting like an idiot. Every time he turns around, I see the bloodshot eyes. I see that it looks to me like he's been driving 20 or 30 hours, or he's been stopping off someplace and enjoying the local libations, shall we say. That's what he looked like to me. No, in fairness to this van driver, I did not smell alcohol on its breath. I did not. Right. So finally, so we get relief. Here's the thing. I'm getting ready to ask him to pull over, and I see the checkpoint up ahead. Now, the checkpoint is there because they've had way too many accidents on this stretch of highway. What are you going to do? The yellow lines are only there for just because. They make great artwork. They're not there because the double yellow lines are not there because they don't want you to cross over to the other side, for the safety of ongoing traffic. They will squeeze you in half. They not only nip and will squeeze you in half, they will cut you in half. So I see the checkpoint and I start making the sign of the cross. And I'm not a very religious man. I start going in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you for sending help. I believe in God. So then he slows down because, of course, this is LTO. This is traffic enforcement. Traffic enforcement is on the job, right? And we're approaching the stop. We're approaching the slow zone, right? The slow down zone. So anyway, so he hit the brakes really fast. We fishtail a little bit because he didn't see it until the last minute because he's coming around the curve, a blind curve, if you will. And then all of a sudden he's like, and he stops. Okay, he stops and he acts like a decent driver. This is how I know that he's BS, right? This is how I know that he's all bullshit. It's because he slows down, slows way down like, I'm the best driver on the planet, and stays in his own lane for a change, right? And we pull in there, and by the time they see him coming, they're like, he's driving pretty good. We don't need to check anything about him. And so he clears it, and for about a block or block and a half, there he goes, speeding up again, doing 110, 120 miles an hour. I didn't even know those vans could go that fast. And I'm like, oh my God, I missed my chance to jump off at the checkpoint, right? Now I'm going to die because I should have jumped off at the checkpoint. But thank God, or maybe not so good for the person that's dead, up ahead was an accident where it was pretty evident that somebody made a boo-boo that unfortunately cost them their lives. And it was the saddest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been on the road. I've seen a lot of accidents. This one fell short of being horrific, but when you saw it, you had to drop to your knees and start praying for that young person's family. So what ended up happening is we had a utility truck or a garbage truck right ahead of us, right? And a truck, I would say it was probably akin to like I don't know what, they have a whole bunch of different trucks here, right? But this was a standard pickup truck, kind of reminded me of one that I used to own. Kind of looked like an extended cab, uh, uh, S10 SUV or S10 crew cab, something like that. Yeah, they charged me. Yeah, they charged me a full ticket for your suitcase, but I didn't have one. Man, Minnie and I, we're traveling Manila light, right? We're only going to be there 5 days. We only have our backpacks. This trip so far, with the exception of a few things, is the reason why I wanted to do this live stream. I want to tell you a little bit about it. Pretty interesting. So, of course, I'm right there. I have full view of the accident. What happened was the truck came out from a side street onto the main highway, attempting to make a left-hand turn, and met the trash truck or utility truck. You know, in a classic you die accident. Classic. So yeah, driver from hell is exactly right, Crystals. Prissy is here. Charmaine's hanging in there with the story. All right, so it folds underneath that utility truck or that garbage truck. I don't know if you know what a garbage truck looks like. I think most of you do. But envision this, right? Envision the slow, in slow motion, the crushing metal as the former truck. Ronaldin Fuentes is here. Ronaldin Fuentes. I have cousins in Santa Fe Springs. Their name is Fuentes. Prissy's here. Thanks so much. All right. And they fold underneath that garbage truck, never to be seen or heard again. Driver killed instantly. Didn't even know Cherry Joy team didn't even know what happened to him. Didn't even know what happened to him. It happened so quickly. May they rest in peace. May God watch over their soul. It was an ugly sight to see. So, but what does the van driver do? Does he make the sign of the cross? Does he slow the hell down a little bit, Jerry? What does he do? What does he do? No, I'm going to take the opportunity. Well, everybody's all preoccupied over there trying to figure out, do they need to extract a body, where a person is obviously dead inside, where the head is in the bed of the truck and the body is right there in the driver's seat where it all began. How you doing there, Mike? So they're all deciding what to do, and the van driver that we're in, takes the opportunity to speed up a little bit. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to speed up a little bit because they're preoccupied, and the cops and everybody are going to be preoccupied over there. So he floors it. Now, the gal on the other side of Minnie, we were right behind the driver's side seat, right? And so you know what it's like sitting in there. We could see all the action happening. And of course, I saw everything. So I'm at the end. You know. Yeah, I know that. I know that. There's hardly a day without an accident. That's true. That's true. And so it's one of those things that you just have to get used to, right? But it's terrifying nonetheless, right? It's terrifying to witness. And of course, it's terrifying. Folks, take it from Dan. I know from experience. Don't lose your head over rush hour traffic. Next time, take public transportation. You'll be better off. You'll keep your head intact. Driving is dangerous. It's inherently dangerous. This is why they want to ban it in the United States. They don't want private cars on the road because they would rely. They think that we can't drive, and they people who think that people in the U.S. can't drive has never been in the Philippines before. Obviously, I just had to throw that. Yeah, you can use that. Don't lose your head over rush hour traffic. Take the light rail. I sent that into the light rail when they were having a contest, and they were none too happy with me. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. This wasn't hilarious. Some young person lost their life, and I cried tears because no, they were loved by someone. They were loved by somebody. They probably had children, a family to support. They obviously were doing well because they were driving that fine crew cab truck, but unfortunately it became aluminum foil. Aluminum foil when it faced the front of that garbage truck. If you guys know what I mean, you can You can imagine it. So sorry. I should have asked you to send your children away before I started this live stream. I'm sorry if some of your kids had to listen to this story. It was a little bit too graphic. So here's the thing, right? Oh, all we see is your head, and you're wearing white. Yeah, that's right. White against the white wall. Yeah, yeah. It's a very impromptu setup here that I got. Very impromptu. Um. Anyway, very bad. Tim says those drivers are like factory workers on a quota. The more passengers they haul, the more money they make. Yeah, and I had promised it's on me. This whole thing is on me, because I had told Minnie I never would get on one of these ever again, right? Bus for me. It's a bus for me. You probably have a higher survival rate, but I could be wrong. In the States, you probably have a lower survival rate. Yeah, there's plenty of gruesome vehicle accidents. So glad to be done with that. Yeah, I promise you, I'm never getting on a van again. There I go again. There I go again. As sure as I leave this hotel room, this sleeping room for tonight, it is not much more than a sleeping room. Headed for Manila. I'm telling you. Sure as I'm leaving this room, it'll end up happening again that I will be on a van. Less than 30 minutes ago, I booked a 2-night stay in Taguig. I want to check out BGC. BGC is the happening place. BGC is where we're headed. We're headed that way. And we're going to spend some time. I'm going to do videos on this, most likely 2-minute videos. I'm not going to bore you to death with it, but we'll go ahead and go to the Venice Mall, whatever that thing is. We'll go to we've done, I think, Mall of Asia 2 or 3 times. I don't know if I have I don't know if I have the heart for going to Mall of Asia. Mall of Asia is okay, but there's something about Mall of Asia that is uninspirational. I don't know if you catch me on this. It's not as inspirational as other malls I've been to that are of smaller size. Okay, so it's the third largest or fourth largest mall in all of the world. Well, good for them. But when I go in there, I just want to. I'm looking around for a forklift driver to help me move my freight, if you know what I mean. That's the impression I get whenever I go in there. Now it's gotten better. Uh, it's gotten better over the years. I'm going to admit that. Anime Reyes is here. Uh, Bang Alafai is here. It's gotten better over the years, but not so much. All right. It still reminds me of a big, gigantic warehouse. So anyway, where was it? Back in 2018, when I came to the Philippines, my wife had to calm me because I was about to get out of the van or choke the driver for risking everybody's lives. Exactly how I felt. Finally, but I've learned to keep my mouth shut and die. Death sometimes is better than opening your mouth. But this time, here's what happened, right? What ended up happening was the gal sitting next to Minnie finally said, "Please slow the F down. You just saw what happened over there. What the hell is the matter with you?" And then he looks over his shoulder and goes, hmm, hmm, and then slowed it down about 10 miles an hour. Not much, just to give everybody a chance to catch their breath. And then before you know it, a few moments later, we were in Ormo. And once you enter the city limits, you know, of course they know. Once you enter the city limits, they know that you're going to get a ticket if they see you speeding in their jurisdiction. They're going to find you. They're going to find you, and when they do, you're going to be paying a hefty fine. And so, no, you can't be screwing around. You can't be screwing around in Ormoc. All right, so we get there, and everything was fine, right? Whew. God bless the Philippines. That's incident number one. All right. Incident number two. is we go to buy the fast ferry ticket on the ocean jet. Some of you have already viewed the short video that I put up there. All right. And we'll go up there and I tell Manny, okay, 2 tickets, and we want the outdoor tourist section of the ocean jet. You know, that's where they put out those outdoor chairs. Everybody gets out there, and if they need to smoke or do whatever, they do it out there. But I go out there because I've discovered that's the best place for me to be because it's open air, and I like open air. I like being out there. You know, I like being out there, and I like the breeze, and it's healthier, right, for me. So anyway, Jerry, you're saying something, but man, oh man, let me see if I could advance this here. I apologize if I inadvertently delete you or hide your comments. It's not my intent because I'm working on microscopic equipment here today. Let's see. Jerry says, I don't think I will be going to Pangasinan. I really wanted to return to Lingayen. Yen. Tox asked me if I was going to be in that area. Oh, Tox got her chocolate. I don't know. She gets such a thrill out of it. I love sending Tox chocolate. So I send her some Hershey's Kisses from the US of A. Never miss an opportunity to make a new friend. I'm hitting the high current comment thing. I don't know what's going on here. My fingers are doing the walking while I'm doing the talking. Just forget about it. I mean no harm to anyone. Don't get your panties in a bunch if I accidentally delete you. Please don't. Don't create drama on Facebook just because I accidentally muted you. Please don't do that. Oh my goodness gracious. You know, how many times must I apologize for doing that? I'm an old man. Don't you guys get it? I'm an old man. Okay, what's the next incident? All right. So we asked for the outdoor and you say outdoor tourist class, right? Well, Minnie goes up there and says tourist class outdoors. This is her country. And she says, you know what ends up happening? I end up indoors. The woman would not change the ticket. She wouldn't. She said, just go upstairs. There ain't going to be anybody up there. And so I'm fine and say, well, write something down there, reassign the seat. So I go to check in and I explain to them, can you reseat me, you know, outdoor in the tourist section, you know? And anyway, she says no. But true to that woman's word at the ticket window who didn't want to take the time to be a true professional, she wanted time to show everybody how professional she was because she's way too busy playing on her phone, running her phone, working her Facebook page. Well, then we get up there, and there were about half a dozen people that made their way up there, and I got the seat that I felt the most comfortable in, and everything was right in the world. So that really doesn't qualify as an incident, a reportable incident, you know, a negative one, but this does. This does. So right after I took that short video of the ocean jet, I thought this was cool because it was just, you know, they call it ocean jet for a reason. It's because it's a jet on the ocean, right? It just zooms across that water. And so I got a picture of how fast that is. And I posted it as a short video, you know, the crystal blue waters with the waves, the wake of the water going by. Anyway, go up there, the white water, go up there and take a look at that, and you'll see what I mean. It's truly a jet on the water. Now, so we're cruising. I'm feeling comfortable. Weather's good. I'm happy. I'm trying to put the whole van thing, you know, I'm trying to get that out of my mind. When it's time to leave, right? All the executives that are in the they're in the business class seats, right? Some executive who apparently has a very, very important business meeting to attend. Yeah, Filipino guy, I think. Mostly I see other people doing this, not necessarily Filipinos. I just want to make it clear. By the way, I don't blame this guy for doing this. Cha Ram is here. I don't blame this guy for doing this anime. Uh, I blame the crew because when you're coming into berth, when you're coming into the port, the crew is supposed to be on station. Everybody knows this, especially if you're in the Navy. If you're not on station, you're going to have a price to pay, right? A price to pay is going to be yours, right? Because your commanding officer is going to kick your ass if if you aren't on station when that ship is coming into port. Were they on station, Larry Lee, when we came into port? No. And so here's what happens, right? Here's what happens. The crew realizes, oh, I'm not on station. Wah, 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 and they start running around. And we're coming into the berth and we're coming in hot, you know, and I could feel them trying to slow this ship down because we're coming into port a little bit hot. Not like in a movie where it hits the and everything explodes. It's not that kind of a thing, right? Melanie is here. Melanie Mel. How's your beautiful baby Mel? She is so beautiful. So anyway, I feel the you know, I feel you know, we get knocked around like a pinball a couple of times. But it's okay. We survive, right? People are grabbing ropes when they realize nobody's around. Yeah, you have a civilians running by, walking by, grabbing ropes. Abby, trying to get everything squared away. And so finally, we're stabilized and everything is fine, right? Except for one thing, right? Except for one thing, Sakbuchi. One of yesterday's winners, I think. Here's what ends up happening. Or maybe it was one of your ninjas that won. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Melanie. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Folks, if you have a few little ducats that you could send to Mel so she can enjoy her birthday, I'm sure she would appreciate it. Send it to Mel, send it to Jason, send it to somebody that way. It'll get to Mel. Abby, let me tell you the rest of the story. Mike, I know I'm carrying on. It's getting a little bit boring. Okay, so I know that these guys in the executive waiting room, the rich dudes and the fake rich dudes like me that like to sit in business class on occasion, you've heard me talk about the seats are very comfortable. Well, there's a port door there, you know? I mean, it's what do they call those, Larry? You know, where you have to crank it open. What do they call those, right? It's a regular, like you'll see on any ship. And it has a couple of things that you have to do in order to open this door. But there's an idiot that I could see on the other side, right? Who's not looking through the glass, the porthole, to see that I'm there. I'm standing there. Right, I started realizing, man, I got to get the hell out of the way because this fool, this executive, the CEO of some multinational corporation who has an appointment that he's going to miss, if he doesn't get through that door ASAP. Anyway, by the time I think about it, he goes crashing through the door, right, and slams me up against the bulkhead, right. And thankfully, I had anticipated this was going to happen. I slightly turned my position so the door hits me in the ass. So I'm not damaged, right, except for my knee, because my knee hits the bulkhead, my ass hits the door, and this jarred me for a moment, right? So I see this fool coming out the door, and I was like beet red. I thought I was going to kill him. I'm thinking to myself, I'm actually thinking in my brain, he's going to die today by my hand. Oh, God, I can't believe it. I can't believe I was thinking that. I said, this dude's going to die by my hand. So I turned around and I looked at him, and I looked him straight in the eye. I said, you're about to die. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. But he's telling the truth. It was not his fault. It was his fault for screwing around with something that he don't know how it works. If you don't know how something works, leave it the hell alone. Don't go near it. Don't go near it. It's dangerous. Things on ships are dangerous. People don't realize. That's why they have these crews that are trained to do these jobs. There was no crew member there to open up the hatch to help them escape. There you go, the hatch, whatever they call it, right? To crank the wheel and pull the lever and look through the looking glass to make sure nobody was on the other side. That is all the responsibility of a crew member, and there was no one around. But this fool takes it upon himself to exit stage left. And when he does, he slams the door into me. I was standing right there because that's where I'd been seated. Princess Sarah's here. Good morning, Princess Sarah. Good morning. Good morning from Cebu, from the. I guess this is a what they call a rest house, a restroom. I almost said. Oh yeah. So anyway, so I yelled at this guy for 2 or 3 minutes. This guy was not cowering. He said, "It's not my fault." I said, "Well, why don't you don't touch things that you know nothing about? How about that for a start?" And then I'm walking towards him, and he's finding a way to take shelter down one of the rows of seats because he doesn't want to get thumped by me. And of course, by the time I reached him, by the time I got within neck choking range, I had already calmed down, right? Pretty much I owe them for a door. That's right, Mike. Pretty much if they catch up with me, I probably have to pay for a new door. Well, anyway, so by the time I get by him, I'm just thinking to myself, you're just nothing but a fool. And I walk by him, right? I walk by him. I say, come on, man. Man Minnie is like, no, no, no. Man Minnie is like any Filipina. You know, she's trying to always be playing the peacemaker because she doesn't want me to die an early death. Protect the quarterback are the rules that she lives by, right? Most Filipinos live by this rule. Whatever you do, you got to protect the dancer, right? Protect Dan at all costs because he's the money machine. No, no, no. I'm not saying that that's really. I'm not saying I saw that I buffered there for a second. Listen, I'm not saying that. She thinks that, right? She has plenty of money. She has plenty of her own money. All right. So anyway, all right. So that was incident number 2. So then we get off. I just need to learn to keep my mouth shut. You could be angry, but you can't project that anger onto anyone else. It isn't going to do any good. Number one, I'm a very sarcastic Kano, right? Kano. No one understands sarcasm here in the Philippines. I'm wasting my breath. Nobody gets it. But the sarcasm itself, if they don't understand it and they accept it as being a viable threat, they're going to kill you. And every Filipino on that ship, no matter who they are, whether they know you, they don't know you, they're pretty much going to jump in on the action, right? And make sure that you learn your lesson. So no, 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 no. You can't, you cannot get involved that way. You just have to keep your mouth shut. I recommend that everybody does the same. All right. I see a few more people have stepped in to the chat, but I can barely see. I have my magnifying glass, but my magnifying glass is um, in the suitcase. Buffering, buffering, buffering. I'm buffering on my Motorola phone. I don't know if I'm buffering here on the live stream. All right, so now let me get on. So I get off, and now from all these these 2 incidents that have occurred, Philippine experience, American sarcasm can be pretty rude and hurtful. Yeah, and then I can't see the rest for some reason. It passed me by. But you're absolutely right about the first part of your comment. And so now we get off safely. And of course, people are staring at me like you can see the I'm very angry, but I'm not angry enough to do anything, nor am I angry enough to say anything else. And so what ends up happening is what ends up happening is as you know, when you get out of the port, then you're hammered. You're getting hammered by all kind of people. Need a cab, need a cab, need a cab, need a cab. I said, no, I need a grab. Grab is number one. Ah, there's a guy next to me starts laughing. This is incident number three. Grab is number one. Why don't you go grab your jelly donut, you fat American? That's what this guy says to me. And so I start laughing. I thought that's the funniest thing that I've ever heard. So I say to him, I think I'll go do that. Can you point me in the direction of the donut shop? And I start laughing again. And of course, this time he's starting to ignore me. He laughed, he chuckled a little bit, but he turned around. He's starting to need a cab, need a cab, need a cab, need a taxi, need a taxi, need a taxi. And of course, we don't need one. The reason why we don't need one is because we're only 2 blocks away from the hotel. This is the reason why I booked a room here, is because I know this hotel. And it used to be an okay hotel, and now it's gone downhill, right? Yeah, boy, it's doing the backslide like you would not believe. Oh my gosh, I can't go into details. I don't want to end up getting sued. I don't listen. It needs some work. That's all I can say. That's all I'm legally able to say, is that it needs some work. Hello, Prissy Santos. So, what's the rest of the story behind this? Uh, yeah, in the Philippines they don't, Mike. I agree. So you have to think about it, especially if it's thought provoking. Don't get me started. So the grab thing happens. The grab things happen, and then we make our way out, heading on the main street, and then a jeep comes. We have 2 or 3 blocks to walk, and it is. If you're in Cebu, you know it's hot. It is really hot. It's about 12:30 or so, and the sun is just beating down on me. And I'm thinking to myself, man, we only have like 3 blocks, 2.5 or 3 blocks to go, and it's too far for me. I started looking around, and there's a Jeep, and I'm waving at him. Jeep, are you headed for Galleria Mall? And he says, as a matter of fact, I am. Very nice Filipino driver there, not a crazy driver. Very nice. He says, hop in. We're headed there. Mammy and I get in the Jeep. We go down the road. A couple of minutes later, we're right there at Galleria Mall, Cebu, Robinson's Galleria, across from the hotel that we're staying at. And we have arrived, and all is right in the world. And until I get up into the room, and then I look at the room and I go, very uninspiring. That's all I got. That's all I got to share with you. Hey, listen, there's more to come. There's more to come, and I'll tell you why I know this, right? I'll tell you why I know this. It's because when I booked the flights, I'm trying to figure out, because I mentioned this on either live stream or video. I said, man, now's the time to fly. The flights are so cheap. Let me tell you what I did, right? As some of you know, some use military time and some use standard time. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Donut. I love Mr. Donut. Yeah, I absolutely love Mr. Donut. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. I'm going to lose my Dunkin' contract. Well, Dunkin' and Mr. Donut, they were like very closely related. I think at one time Dunkin' Donut actually owned Mr. Donut in the United States, but not in Asia, not in Southeast Asia, from what I understand. Kentucky Farm Vlog is here. So anyway, what's the rest of it? What's the rest of the story? Oh, I know that there's more to come. That's because I bragged about how we got these round trip tickets, and they were like $130 round trip for Minnie and I to fly Air Asia from Cebu to Manila. But military time is what I'm used to doing business, not standard time. So guess what? I accidentally booked these tickets, not accidentally, on purpose, booked these tickets for the middle of the night. And so now I don't look good. Minnie and I don't look good wandering the streets of Manila in the middle of the night, but that's what's about to happen. So Annie MC is here. Good morning. Good morning. So, yeah, I know you're all laughing. I'm just trying to tell you what happened. You can laugh and make fun of me. It's okay. You know, I do these things all the time. You know, I some days I'm a walking disaster. Man, Minnie has to walk interference for me. So I'm a walking, talking disaster, right? I couldn't help myself out of believe me. So, so I booked. So we're a flight out to Manila, if you believe it or not, at 1:45 in the morning, which I thought was 1:45 p.m. Now they don't know how to use AM and PM. AirAsia doesn't know how to use AM and PM because I would have paid the higher fare price if it were the time that I wanted to travel. But now I'm stuck. Now I'm stuck. I'm not changing the ticket. The change fees are incredible. We're just going down there, and we'll uh, I think we're leaving out of Terminal 2, and we'll head over to Manila, and then we'll just go upstairs to where all the food is, and we'll hang around there drinking coffee. And then when it gets time, we'll go over to Venice Mall or whatever they call it there in Manila, hang around for a little bit, get in one of those boats and get paddled around and pretend that we're in Italy someplace. Anyway, we'll do that because that's what vloggers do. And and then we'll come back and hopefully it'll be time for us to get our room. Now the room, yeah, it's zero dark. Yeah, we're gonna have to stay in the airport, Tim. We're gonna have to stay in the airport in Manila, and we'll have to figure it out. But we'll go on the Skyway. We'll get up there on the Skyway, and maybe if I feel like it, they have micro hotels up there. They have the little sleeping capsules, I believe. I don't know. Maybe it'll turn into a video. Maybe it'll turn into a very bad experience. I'm not sure. All right. There's uh there's no plans to draw any money for winners for pesos 300 a day. But what I'm going to do is a couple of you that came, the attended the stream, I'm going to go ahead and I know I have some money in my Gcash because I loaded it up yesterday or before we left. So I'm going to share the wealth today. I'll just pick a couple people and I will not yet, not yet. That's where we're headed. We're going to do that Monday at 10 a.m. in Intramuros. Intramuros, we're meeting her niece, my favorite niece, her favorite niece, and we're going to go over to Intramuros and we're going to go ahead and I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God, or whatever they say for retention of citizenship. And then we have to go from there over to the passport office. So I think that Monday, you probably won't see me around. It's going to be a very, very boring day. No, it's not boring. It's exciting. Citizenship or retention of citizenship is a big deal. We really need that because you have to protect my status also. I need protection. Folks, that's the lesson in life, right? Always use protection. Mike, hey, Joe, Buena Vista Dreaming from Vallejo is in the house. Okay, well, anyway, Lumpia is on the menu, Mike. Lumpia is on the menu. Let me see. There he is. Someone told me this is great for Minnie because then she could go apply for Social Security benefits. And as long as we make 10 years contribution, when she turns age 60, she gets to draw from that Social Security benefit here in the Philippines. So that's the direction that we're going on that. All right. Someone also said we don't really need a passport. We just need the certificate with us when traveling in and out of the Philippines. But we're going to go ahead and get her a passport. I, myself, still retain Balik Bayan privileges. I found out. I checked that out already. And so whenever we're together, we leave the country, come back, then I get the privilege. And so my whatever visa I may need is probably going to go. It's probably going to be on the back burner for a while. Oh, the E-Red. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Jerry, thank you so much for bringing this up. Folks, I got to tell you something. This is silliness. E-ticket, right? E-ticket registration and visa registration. Those things are all they're all being done online. But check this out, Jerry. Check this out, right? Here's what happened. We land and I'm holding up my QR code. I said, Minnie, get your QR code ready. There'll be somebody here with a reader, reading the QR code. Nobody there in Cebu. Nobody there. They didn't ask for the QR code once. Nobody was there. No one was there. No one, absolutely no one was there. They could care less about the QR code. Oh, you do. You have a social security number for your two kids. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You need that. You open the world up to them. You open the world up to them. So here's the thing. They didn't ask for it. I showed it, and there's signs all over the place. Have your QR code reader ready. Did you register? Go to this table. They have a computer set up. They have two computers. Register if you haven't. And then nobody asked for it throughout the whole process coming through customs. By the way, before I go, I just would like to say that on the return ticket thing, AirAsia did ask for a return ticket. I said we're Balikbayans, and a return ticket is not required. I said, yeah. And if you know, I've never been asked for a bribe by immigration officers. They never have to ask me for one. I just offer it up. Never anywhere in the world have I. That's because I take preventative measures, right? Like on the top of your suitcase, you always leave a 500 peso note, stuff like that as it's going through the X-ray machine. No, no, I'm just joking around with you, Nitban. I've never been asked and never have had to do that. And countries that are known for doing that, or airports that are known for doing that, I probably will not fly into, right? But I am. But I'm not going into the international terminal at Manila. I'm going into the domestic. So things are quite different in the domestic terminal, and things are quite they're definitely different when you fly out of Cebu, and then um, when you fly out of Clark. No, no, I understand. So you have dual citizenship, and that's very, very important because you know where our passport is accepted. It's one of the most beneficial passports to have, as you know. And so this is the reason why you want to maintain that. There's a reason why you want to get, if you have kids in the Philippines, you make sure you register and that everyone knows they're there and alive. You get the social security number, the passport, and uh, dual citizenship status. And then when they become young adults, they need to go to school, travel all over the world. Boom, they get to go without restriction. Bam! There's my U.S. passport in your face. Doosh, 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 doosh. Take it or leave it. Yeah, I'm Filipino. Yeah, I speak Visayan. Yeah, I speak Tagalog. What of it? I got this for you. I got this for your ass. It's called a U.S. passport. That sounded a little bit ethnocentric, but I didn't mean to be. Just a fact, right? There's certain passports. You have dual citizenship. You are king of the world. I think a Norwegian passport's one, European, um, um, anywhere just about in Europe and the United States, of course. No need to apply. Although Europe is going to require a registration online pretty soon for U.S. passport holders. That's a story for another day and my feelings about it. Hey, it's because the United States has imposed procedural goodies on them, and so it's just tit for tat. So anyway, that's the way it goes. Why can't we just stay out of everybody's business? Somebody tell me that. Somebody tell me what's wrong with taking that as an avenue of approach. It doesn't pay much money. It doesn't pay much profit. Oh, I just answered my own question, didn't I? All right, what was I about to say? Oh, Air Asia. So I had to convince them at check-in that if you look in the visa section, which is where they put the Balikbayan stamp. This was my approach, by the way. You could use it if you need to, right? But most of you don't need to use this. If you open up both my wife's passport and mine simultaneously, you will see 3 Balikbayan passports. Yeah, I had to get a visa when I went to China. Yeah, that's true. And another country, Vietnam, was it? Okay. I've had to transit through. I remember I had to get a visa. I think it was flying into China. I can't remember where else, but I had to apply for visa online. Vietnam, I think. All right. So uh, here's the thing. We were able to convince him because my approach was not to get bent out of shape like I normally would do with such matters. I said, "Oh, if you open them up side by side, then you could see that we have the Balik Bayan stamp in there for both for the three entries that we've made over the last few times we've left the country, and that the dates all match." And sure enough, she opened them up and she actually did what she actually, I didn't say anything more. I wasn't insistent. She opened them up, she looked at them, and she goes, "Oh, yes, I see him." Boom, that was it. That's all we had to do. I was prepared to go on that site to go get a throwaway ticket for us, $14 a piece or 17 bucks a piece, whatever they are, but I didn't have to because she opened them up and she said, "Yes, there they are." And so we did the same avenue of approach when entering the Philippines immigration. When I realized that that worked, and we approached immigration, and I declared that we have Balik Bayan privilege, and she started asking for all this documentation. She had it all of a sudden, her personality completely changed when I say, "Well, also we're going to get you all these documents, and then but if you open up the passport, then you can see that there are three entry stamps, and they're all Balik Bayan, and you'll see the dates are exactly the same." Bam! Her whole personality was like smile on her face, and boom, you're in. Hey, by the way, I just wanted to point out something in case you don't know it. Um, my one final thought before I leave you today, right? So my one final thought is Ed in the house? I'm sorry, Ed, are you in the house? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. All right. uh, I can't remember it now. It's old age. I cannot remember it. I thought it was going to be my funniest final point I was going to make. But the whole thing is, you know, you don't have to get it. Listen, I'm out of line a lot of times. I think a lot of it has to do with I'm getting older, and as I get older, I'm getting crankier, and I'm also moving further to the right. That's the thing that's disturbing to me. Also, also, what the final thought really had to do with the fact that this morning I was in Low Roller Scratcher's YouTube channel. I wanted to see what he was up to, and he has no mention in the last 5 or 6 videos that I saw. Low Roller Scratcher has no mention whatsoever of cryptocurrency. So what happened? What happened? Because when we used to talk, right? When everybody used to talk and make fun of him on Chris and Cebu, he would say, "Oh, you wait for the bull market to come, and I'm going to be a multi-bazillionaire." Well, the bull market is here, and Bitcoin is certainly, and cryptocurrencies are certainly going crazy. So I'm making the assumption that he's now independently wealthy. And so I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to send a message over to him, and I'm going to ask him what the story is. If he could do an update for us, an update video on where he's at on his crypto, because I'm very, very curious. I mean, as most of you know, crypto, you have institutional investors now putting money in cryptocurrency. That is unheard of. I'm right if you are right. I'm left if you are left. That's why I am never wrong. That way I'm never wrong. Des is in the house. Des is sharing things out, I think, on Facebook. I'm not sure. I think that's what I saw. All right. So that is very, very Low Roller. So funny. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's in our face. It's in our face if he kept his cryptocurrency because he's rich. But see, I'm thinking that isn't what happened. I'm thinking there's a story to this, right? Something happened, and I want to know what happened because he's still doing scratcher videos and some other things that I find to be very entertaining. But I haven't seen him talk about crypto in like 5 or 6 or 8 videos that I saw on his site, on his YouTube channel. Nothing about crypto. So I don't know what happened. Folks, that's about it. I'm out of here. I got to go. Mammy and I, We have a full day of Denny's and Starbucks and hanging around the mall. If you see us over there, we'll be in Robinson's Galleria just biding our time until tonight's tonight's mistake. I mean, I'm sorry. Tonight's flight that I'm looking forward to late at night, 1:45 in the morning at AirAsia. Ah, folks, Larry, it's time. Larry Lee, if you're hanging around, it's time to get me out of here. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me sign off on this little one. Bye everyone. Remember to be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus always try to have fun. Mammy, do you want to smile and say hello to everybody? She's been in makeup. She's been in movie production mode. I just woke up. Come on over here and say, come on over and get your face in this camera right here. Look at me. Look at the phone, just like on Facebook. Say hi, everybody, and bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. We'll see you later. Oh, I almost knocked you over, guys. Take care. We're out.